Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, right off the bat here, I want to take some time and answer a question from a viewer. It's a question I've answered before, but I haven't answered it in a while, so a lot of people who watch me now probably haven't seen me address this topic. What this person asked me is, what is the best handgun for beginners? They sent me an email about how they want to get their significant other into shooting. That person has never shot a gun, so what is the best gun to take them out and let them shoot first? Well, I always give the cop-out answer. If you always let the person choose the gun, you don't choose a gun for the person. You take them out, you give them a variety of things to shoot, either different stuff you own or stuff you rent, whatever. Take them to a rental area, let them choose what they want to shoot based on what the gun is like, their own preferences. But if you're asking me what guns do I think just generally are the best guns for beginners to learn on, well, the answer might surprise you. Because a lot of people say, well, someone told me a Glock is a good gun for beginner, and I just can't believe that because it's too easy to shoot it. Well, I actually think things like that make the Glock and the SIG P320 actually excellent as beginner guns, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Now, I actually think the best gun to start on is a revolver, of course. I don't think that's going to surprise anybody. Revolvers are like the stick shifts of guns. If you learn the basics on a revolver, trigger control, how to properly hold the weapon, etc., just all the little basic stuff. If you can learn that on a revolver, you can apply that to anything. And just like if you learn on a stick, you can drive anything. If you learn on a revolver, you can shoot anything. So I think revolvers are really good. But a lot of people want it to be a semi-automatic. They want more capacity. They want, to learn those things you have to learn, like magazine seating and all that stuff when you shoot a semi-automatic. So they ask me sometimes specifically, what's the best semi-automatic for people to start on? And this is where I say, for the same reason I say the revolvers are good, I say Glocks and SIG P320s and things like that are good guns to start on. Because they don't have safeties. That's the number one reason I don't like some guns that people start off on. And it's not because the guns themselves are bad or safeties are bad. It's because I think people get taught a bad mindset when they're like, okay, I've got this gun. It's dangerous if I mishandle it. I have to handle this gun properly at all times. And you drill that into their heads when you're teaching them. But I think in the back part of their little lizard brain, when they see there's a safety, they think, well, now the safety's on, so if I mishandle it, it's not a big deal. It's safe. And I don't like that. That right there is one of the biggest problems I run into with people who learn on guns that have safeties. Because it seems like a lot of people think, well, the first gun for people who've never shot before better have a safety on it for their own protection. I feel the opposite. I feel that safety causes problems. Because I think it causes bad habits, and then people have to worry about whether the safety's on, whether the safety's off. It's enough that you have to worry about things in semi-automatics you don't have to worry about in revolvers, like is there one in the chamber? Is the magazine seated properly? Blah, blah, blah. Is it racked? You don't have to do that with a revolver, which is why I think they're better. But when you get into semi-automatics, the simpler the better also. If you don't have to worry about that safety being on or off and how to take it off when you're properly training to use your gun, you don't have to worry about that stuff. Plus, you don't have to worry about developing that bad habit of thinking that safety is somehow protection from God when it comes to the gun. If you remember when police departments switched over to Glocks decades ago, there was an enormous increase in negligent discharges and unintentional wounding, self-inflicted wounds. And that was because a lot of them had used guns like revolvers, etc., that are very forgiving. And they had gotten into the habit of mishandling their firearms. I wouldn't want anyone to get into that habit. A lot of guys before had guns that had safeties on them, or they had revolvers. Wasn't a lot of risk of accidentally brushing the trigger or anything like that. So they got into this habit where they felt too comfortable with their guns, and their self-importance made them feel like, I'm a trained professional, I know what I'm doing. And that caused accidents when they got with a gun that required them to actually obey the rules of not putting your finger on the trigger or letting anything else touch the trigger until you want to fire the gun. That's why we had so many issues. They were lazy, lackadaisical. They just weren't in the right mindset to handle a gun where you actually had to follow the rules. So that's why I like guns like that for beginners. teach them right off the bat, these are the rules you have to follow. The number one rule is don't touch the trigger at any time until you're ready to fire that gun at something you want to stop or destroy. And I think that's the simpler lesson. I think the more things you give people to confuse them, like safeties and all this other stuff, they might either skip a step when they're trying to use the gun and get confused and have a problem, or they'll just get into that wrong mindset, like safety's on, and I've seen a lot of people do that. So I think guns that are just basic, simple guns, like the P320, the Glock, they are great guns for beginners. Now, personally, the one I like best is like a decocker only type of double action, single action semi-automatic, because that's very much like a revolver. If you want to get someone a double action, single action automatic that has decocker only, no safety, like a G model Beretta 92 or one of the CZs that is decocker only, that's what I think is best. Because like I said, that combines semi-automatic and revolver. Very similar, double action, single action, heavy first shot. But then it gives you the option of light shots after. So in some ways, a lot of people will think that's better. And it's got more capacity. But if you're going to go to semi-autos, like I said, I think that whole mindset that guns have got to have safeties for beginners, that's the worst idea, in my opinion. Like I say, just my opinion. Other people can feel differently and have different experiences. But I have found people do better on guns where they just basically have to learn respect it at all times, don't touch the trigger. Like a Glock or a P320, something like that. And if they want something that's even better, double action, single action, decocker only, semi-automatic. But the last thing I would want to give people is a gun that has a safety as their first gun. Because like I said, I just don't think it's a good idea because I think it helps people develop bad habits. All right, everybody, with that being said, I want to move on to a segment we haven't done in a while, but a lot of people have been requesting, and that is Viewer EDC. And today we have Charles, I think you would pronounce this Klingon? I hope that's not how you pronounce it, because it's not spelled with a K, so it's not the alien type of Klingon. It's the you should wipe better type of Klingon, because it starts with a C, even though it does have an A in it. I still think that's how it'd be pronounced. I hope not, but we'll go with that for now. And as you can see here, Charles has made a lot of bad decisions in his life based on his tattoos there on his arm. But one of those bad decisions isn't his carry gun, because he's carrying a very nice gun. He's carrying a Kimber K6S double action, single action 3-inch. Another thing you can tell is he's also very secure in his masculinity because he's carrying it in a fanny pack. I think this is an awesome gun, and I like fanny packs. I carry them quite often. A lot of people like to call them waist packs. I guess because it doesn't sound as, I don't know, giddy as fanny pack. I like the word fanny pack better. But nice gun, carrying it in a way I approve of. I carry that way quite often, especially in the summer. I don't do it so much in the winter because I just carry a big gun. But I don't see anything wrong with this picture. One thing I would like to ask him, though, based on this picture, is what type of exercises do you do to get your pecs to go around to the side like that? Because whatever they are, I think I'm doing them too, and I'd like to stop. But other than that, just wanted to point out, really nice gun, carrying it in a way that shows he's, like I said, very secure in his masculinity. So there we have it. There's our Viewer EDC of the day, Charles Klingon, and his Kimber K6S double action, single action 3-inch in his fanny or waist pack holster. And with that being said, I am out of here for today. I hope you all enjoyed the show, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I just want to remind everyone to always carry and stay safe until I see you again.